Let's talk about Mars and Pluto, Mars versus Pluto, and how it can incite change in your life. Now, here at Azur's Astrology, we utilize transformation astrology to help you move from a stuck and stagnant life to one of bliss and joy. So let's talk about Mars versus Pluto and how it can make you feel anxious, irritated, and what you can do with this internal conflict, okay? So this particular transit happens a few times right now. This is January 2025. This transit is between December 30th and January 2nd. So it can make you feel even more angry than usual because of Mars, and it could really be stirring up some old stuff because of Pluto. Okay, so if you've been ready to challenge something lately, it's because of the influence of this particular Mars and Pluto opposition. Mars, the planet of action and drive, is in a tense standoff with Pluto, the planet of deep transformation and power. This alignment can create an internal tug of war between wanting to take action right away and being pushed to go through a more profound, slower transformation. So I'll talk about how this is affecting me personally. So for me, this is happening in my natal second house. Mars is transiting Leo right now, and Leo is in my particular second house of finances. Okay. So it slowed down my finances because Mars is an action-packed planet, and it's in retrograde right now, which basically means it's kind of like sleep. You can just liken it to that. Okay. And then Pluto, the planet of deep transformation and power, right now is in my 8th house, which actually rules that particular house of transformation, death, and rebirth. So there's this internal conflict, even with me, with financial security, those old doubts and fears and anxiety about finances coming up because Pluto is fear. Okay. So it's like Pluto is presenting me with fears, 8th house. Pluto is in Aquarius right now, about finances, 2nd house, Mars in the 2nd. So it's the two of them. There's this tug of war for me. So it depends on where it is in your chart. But altogether, I really want to show you how you can utilize this transit to ground yourself and not act before act before it's time to, acting prematurely, all right? Because we're going to have this transit again in April 2025. And so I want to prepare you for it. Now, what's happening is Mars wants quick results and instant action, while Pluto is more focused on long-term transformational change. This opposition can stir up feelings of frustration or impatience as these two energies clash. It can also lead to a power struggle, whether within yourself or in your external environment. So it's just this really anxious, irritating, agitating feeling. When you think about these two dark planets, malefic planets, malefic means that they're quote unquote bad, malevolent planets, right? So they're going to, they have a purpose, but they're going to bring up these shadow sides of us that need to be addressed in order for us to move on. But they need to be addressed in a more mindful manner, right? We don't need to be all of a sudden volatile, okay? Because another part, my solar 7th house, where Leo is relationships. So I also have to make sure that I don't act too fast, right? When it comes to conflict in any relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, or business relationships. So it depends on what it is in your chart. But what matters the most is that you utilize some of these strategies that I'm going to give you to really reconcile with that anger, that conflict, that anxiety, okay, that irritation. I'm going to teach you how you can transform that energy into an energy that can actually benefit you. So you can ground yourself during this opposition by recognizing the inner conflict. What are the issues that are coming up? For me this morning, it's January 2nd. So we're right in the middle of this transit. Still have 2 more days left. I woke up I had dreamt that a cat was attacking me on my side every time I spent money. Like, I've never had a dream be so vivid to where I literally woke up and was like trying to shake the cat off of the side of me. Like, I've never had a dream so vivid. I could literally feel the pain. And of course, cats can travel on the astral plane anyway, but that's neither here nor there. Nevertheless, so that was the inner conflict. So I had to meditate. I had to talk to my own chat GPT through, okay, what are the fears around scarcity, around spending money? I had to pause and reflect around that. Okay. Or I could have let Pluto drag me down with this fear-based mentality that I had been working on. I've been working on my fears around finances. I had gotten a lot better. But because of this opposition, it's bringing that up for me, right? So that's just an example. I had to pause and reflect about that. I had to talk about it. I had to recognize it. Okay. And then before you act impulsively, this is the second one actually, pause and reflect. Before reacting impulsively, take a moment to check in with yourself. Are you feeling that urge to act out of frustration? Or are you ready for a meaningful change? This pause can prevent rash decisions. Okay. So again, with me, I can't go out and say, oh, you know what? Let me act in fear and impulsively either go back to work, my regular 9 to 5, just because it's a steady paycheck. Because Pluto will pull you down into that fear. That's Pluto will be like, okay, here's the fear. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to give into it? And Mars, action-based Mars is like, call your recruiter up, go back to work. So I had to pause and reflect because I've gone back to work too soon and missed on opportunities to take my business to the next level. All right. So apply this to your life. You have to pause and reflect. Take your time. Mars doesn't want you to do that. Neither does Pluto. But do that. Now, you also need, the third thing is to channel this physical energy. Mars is action-based, so engaging in physical activities, whether it's walking, yoga, or some intense exercise, can help ground you and release pent-up energy, okay? So for me, I'm like, okay, let me get my stretching on. Let me take walks around the neighborhood. I'm a Gemini moon, so I like walks around the neighborhood anyway. It really helps my emotion. Looks to your moon sign too. Gemini moon, writing, communicating, talking, walking around the neighborhood for me helps to calm me down. So also figure out what activities based off your moon sign will help you become more emotionally stable and balanced during this transit, okay? Now, number 4 is lean into transformation. Pluto's energy is all about deep change. Instead of fighting it, embrace this time as an opportunity for growth, okay? Reflect on any areas of your life where transformation is needed, whether it's your mindset, your relationships, or your goals, okay? So for me, I had to sit down and say, okay, let's go ahead and ground ourselves, Azure, and what is our next step, okay? What transformation are we continuing to build upon? And of course, mine is transforming fear into courageousness, okay? Number 5 is set intentions for positive change. You have to use this time to set intentions for transformation. What do you want to release? Again, for me, it's fear. How do you want to evolve? Focus on the deeper shifts you'd like to see in your life rather than immediate results. Things take time, y'all. Don't let Mars' action-packed energy make you think that everything has to be figured out right now. Be kind to yourself. The universe, when you ask the universe to download the next inspired action to you and for you, it will come, I promise. As someone who has not relied on a steady paycheck for 4 months, well, technically 3 months, 2 months. I've been off for 4 months, but I've had to release control and release that desire, that urge to take action. I have to ask the universe for the thing, Intend that it will come, and it will come, I promise, but you have to take your time. The problem is instant gratification is a real son of a bitch. All right? Take your time. Now, when you act on what you desire from a place of internal stability and foundation, when you've meditated, when you've sorry for all the noise, it gets loud around here. When you've meditated, when you have channeled that energy using action-based, activity-based practices, I can promise you that you won't be as anxious as you were before, as this transit can make you feel. This last transit was in November 2024, and I had one day where I was, oh my God, it was November 2nd. It was so tough. I got really, when I tell you I was pulled down to the pits of damnation and hell, it was rough, okay? But I listened to my astrologer, and I got in some water, and it helped me. So feel the feelings, but be equipped with this knowledge of how to channel that energy, okay? This is not a sentence of despair for you, or desperation, or anxiety or irritation. This transit is here to help you, but you have to know how to utilize it, okay? I love you so much. And if you are a woman who is looking to transform her stuck and stagnant life into a life of joy and bliss, if you want to manifest your dream life, hit me up for a discovery call, okay? I love you so much. Bye.